Okay. Ryosuke Matsumoto said grimly. Even if we die, some people will die with us. Anyway, we won't lose. At this moment. After Charlie set the two-story building on fire, he returned to the Ito family residence. He went from the same road to Nanako's courtyard. At this time, Nanako was sitting in front of the tea table with her eyes closed, her hands gently twisting a string of Bodhi beads, and she silently recited Buddhist scriptures to pray for Charlie. Buddhism is not only prevalent in China, it has also been prevalent in Japan for a long time. Since Mr. Jianzhen traveled east to Japan, Buddhism in Japan has developed rapidly. Although the Buddhism of the two countries is somewhat dissimilar, there is almost no essential difference between the believers of the two countries in the matter of chanting and praying. After reading silently for a long time, the incense in the incense burner had already burned. She felt the fragrance dissipate. When she opened her eyes and wanted to order another plate, she found that Charlie was already sitting opposite her. Nanako was frightened, covering her mouth, and exclaimed, "Master, when did you come back?" Charlie smiled slightly. "Just now, 5 seconds ago." "Huh?" Nanako said incredulously, "Why didn't I notice any movement?" Charlie smiled and said, "Because I thought you were chanting sutras, so I didn't disturb you." Nanako blushed, and said softly, "I was praying for Master just now, and I hope the gods will bless Master to return safely." Charlie smiled slightly and said, "Thank you." Nanako smiled unnaturally and said, "Master, you saved my life, so why bother to thank me for this little thing?" Charlie said earnestly, "I saved you out of my heart, and you prayed for me also out of your heart. The starting point is the same for everyone, so naturally there is no difference in size." Nanako couldn't help sighing. "Master, you are really the only gentleman I have ever seen in my life, you are always considerate of others." Charlie smiled and said, "I'm not a gentleman, so don't praise me." After speaking, Charlie said hurriedly, "By the way, give me your hand and I will check your injury." Nanako replied shyly, "Master, are you trying to signal me?" "Yes." Charlie nodded and said, "Don't you want to go for a walk in the snow? I will help you heal your injury quickly, and let's go for a walk on the snow in the yard. If you are not satisfied, I'll take you outside." "Ah?" Nanako asked, dumbfounded. "Master, you mean my injury will be healed soon? Before the snow melts?" Charlie said seriously, "You don't need to wait for the snow to melt. You can cooperate with me. We can walk in the snow together before it stops." Nanako couldn't believe that Charlie could really heal her. But when she thought that the man in front of her who was eager to try to heal her was the one she loved, she was willing to give a try. So she shyly handed her right hand to Charlie, and said shyly, "Master, then, please." Charlie nodded slightly, and stretched out his fingers to gently place her veins. A trace of aura traveled through Nanako's veins into her body, and within the blink of an eye, it completely wandered through her body. After a while, Charlie took the opportunity to see the specific situation of Nanako's injury. From this look, he discovered that her injury was indeed serious. Almost all of her organs have suffered serious internal injuries. Not only that, but the meridians and bones are also damaged. The whole person seems to have become a fragmented porcelain doll. A little carelessness may cause serious secondary injuries. Although she has been rescued from danger to life after being rescued, her whole body has been in a state of very low safety. She is currently less than 1/5 of ordinary people. Someone who fell might be unharmed, stand up and dust the dirt and leave. If she falls, it would be life-threatening, and she would have to be sent back to the hospital for treatment. Charlie could imagine how severe pain Nanako's body would have to endure from such a severe injury, and the pain was continuous, even in her sleep. Thinking of this, Charlie couldn't help but feel distressed, and said with emotion, "I told you at the time that martial arts is a kind of spirit. There is no need to care too much about winning or losing the game, let alone putting yourself in a dangerous situation in the game. Why were you betting your life against Aoshui?" Nanako said with some shame, "Master, I was not betting on her life, but hoped to go all out without leaving any regrets." Having said this, she sighed and smiled bitterly. It's just that I didn't clearly realize the gap between myself and Aoshui. She was really too strong, incredible. Charlie shook his head helplessly. At this time, he also has his own treatment plan. There are two options for treating Nanako. The first is to directly use the aura in her body to repair the damage suffered. Compared with ordinary people, her body is indeed seriously damaged, but for him, it is not a big problem. With the aura it will be repaired soon. This method is simple, direct and convenient, with many benefits. However, this approach has drawbacks. If he directly repaired her injury with aura, how would he explain it to her? After all, Nanako doesn't have a deep cultivation base, and she can't realize the existence of aura. In her opinion, he may just touch her hand and heal her in a confused way. This may be too incredible for her. And the second way is to let her swallow the rejuvenating pills. The efficacy of rejuvenating pill is beyond doubt,